And 1. Awesome. We are just checking into the
no problem.
live stream to see who's joining us. Perfect.
Oh, Ron's about to. There he is. Ron's here.
Okay.
Perfect timing.
There we go.
So let him know we're live.
Johnny on the spot.
You let him know?
No, just when he comes in. So
Oh, okay.
We're live.
Excellent. Hi, we're live.
Hello, great. Great to be here. Hello, Luke.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing, brother?
Great, brother.
Nice to see you.
Man.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
And you're in San Francisco, floating on top of a bridge.
Yeah. I'm doing my remote viewing over here right now.
I love it. I love it. Look at your beautiful smile. Oh, you're so precious.
Thanks, brother.
Well, we are just moving right along because I'm saying this summit is just getting even more magical as we continue, and it is such an honor and a pleasure to have you both. Ron, you were generous to join us in the panel on human optimization and to share your wisdom in that regard. We are so thankful for you for being here as well. And the Luke Sellars.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's such a pleasure and an honor. And we are just, I mean, my words are just taken away because of the concept, or it's more than a concept, it's a principle that you'll be talking about, which is the intelligence of the heart. And before we get into that, I mean, we just love to have a peek of the magic that you bring into the world. What are you doing? Who are you? If you can introduce us to our viewers today.
Well, I'm Luke. I've been on this path for quite some time, like all of you that are watching, and you know, it's an interesting time for us as humanity, especially those that are alive right now, because we were born in masculine energy before 2012, and we're going to die in feminine energy, or transition. We'll see what happens. The journey for me has been quite a turbulent one. I was a professional athlete, professional hockey player, got mixed up in a lot of unhealthy things as byproducts of traumatic brain injuries and you know, suicide attempts and drug addictions and these types of things, and was just searching for answers, and went into the modern medical communities and working in those paradigms and context, and it just wasn't doing it for me. And by the grace of God, in this life, I was meant to find and really acclimate to authentic practices that allowed me to really go within and start to experience myself in a different way. Not intellectually first, however, then going into the cellular matter and learning how to move within myself and really just focus on this sophisticated mechanism that we've embodied as spirit, this mind and this body. It's literally a Ferrari, if we put it in the context of cars here. And when we work it properly, things start to open up. So I've had a lot of really good support, really good teachers, masters, and have just been, I guess, smart enough and been able to work hard enough in my own time and looking within myself to get to a place where I was serving myself in such a high level that naturally people started to show up looking for assistance in that. And because my primary commitment day in and day out is to be of service to my own self and my family, it puts me in a place of centeredness and to be able to serve others and really enjoying my experience in here and having a lot of fun on this planet now. I'm really at a point now where my emotional traumas in this life are cleaned in that, so I really see the dream clearly. I wouldn't say that I'm conscious. I don't believe there are too many conscious people on this planet. To be able to see the dream state, to see that this is all a dream. We have a lot of wakeful people. From the way I've experienced it, we have those that are asleep that I really love, but we're talking people that just see the physical reality as all there is. We've been there. It's almost a blissful ignorance that I wish I could go back to sometimes. And it doesn't make those people any lesser of who they are, part of this whole ecosystem here. But this just, they see the physical reality as all it is. And then there's those of us that have had the wakeful moments to see that there's something more than that, which is, I would say, where most of our spiritual communities are. And this is not a knock in any way. It's just more, I think, about bringing us back to center, to see that there's necessary work that needs to be done to experience what it is to be the highest vibration of human you can be. And we are spirit having a human experience, not the other way around. So trying to be spiritual as we're spirit having a human experience, I think we need to remember that. And then from there we begin to see the dream, I believe, that, and we can move in and out of the dream, move in our dreaming body. When we go to sleep at night, we can get up out of this body. I mean, consciousness is an interesting dynamic, the Buddhas and the Christ of the world. So I've just been really fortunate that my journey has brought me to a place that was years and years ago, I'd be spending my Sunday at this time in a crack house. And now I'm here spending it with people like yourselves that are really committed to giving your time and your energy to put into the vibration of this planet, and all of those that are here with you on this journey, feeling it necessary and important enough for them to be with us here today, because we have busy lives today. So it's really beautiful. I'm just really grateful to be able to lend any sort of insight in that, and in my own life, that I'm at a point where I have bliss in my life and my experience. So
Received. And just to understand your the context of your environment, where in the world are you at this moment?
I'm in Toronto.
I mean, we know that you're everywhere also, but
And my home is in Toronto. I've been here now for quite some time, up until about I got back here in October. Before that, I was down in Panama for 4 months in the jungle there. I had a fundamental stuck trauma in my energy that I knew was in my subconscious I wasn't aware of. So I went down there and into the jungle to get to the core of it and just be with myself. Before that, a few years before that, I was traveling quite a bit to teach in different facilities and share workshops and that. But now I've been here for a while. I really don't like moving much. I just like to sit and meditate for a few hours a day and do simple things in a consistent way, just to spend time with nature and, spend time with the cat here that we have a lot of fun doing some things together. So here just outside of Scarborough in Toronto. So it's a really beautiful city, quite dense, just like the New Yorks and New Jerseys and different big cities in the world. So that's an interesting thing. I do believe though, and I think this would speak true to yourself down and Kai and Ron, the most difficult places in the world to live right now are the big cities. And I think that that's why it's necessary for people like ourselves to stay put in these cities as opposed to running off into the woods, so that we can lend a hand, help, volunteer, volunteer at a soup kitchen, go do the little things consistently daily that nurture us as a humanity and really elevate the vibration here, as opposed to being stuck in our old ways of competition and economic growth. However, we do need money, we know of these things. But it's really an honor to be here with you.
yes, the honor is ours as well. Would you like to begin to tell us about heart intelligence and exactly what that means? I'm sure that we've heard. I know that I've heard the phrase used a lot, but I'd love to get really clear with you on exactly what that is.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was introduced to this work about 10 years ago, which, in my humble opinion, is the entry point for us as Westerners to our salvation. We don't have the luxury of being raised or born into, Tibetan Buddhism or in India, and I mean actually born there into the culture where you're, growing up way up in the mountains, and naturally you're immersed and connected to nature and can feel the aliveness of everything around you. In this part of the world, it's very difficult. So, over there you would have these experiences, and I've spent some time with some of these great yogis and that, and it's all they've ever known. So for us here in the West, we need a faster, a more direct entry point for us to experience the nature of who we really are. And I came across the work over a decade ago of Drumlo Melchizedek and the Flower of Life books, and he has been the primary master that I've worked in direct contact with still to this day, and the teachings and understanding of entering into the heart. So the best way to really understand this is you as spirit, this speck of sparkling light descended down upon this mind and body to have a human experience, because we are experiential beings. When consciousness, before any of this existed, there was consciousness. It didn't know itself as anything other than what it was because it just was. It's like if you came into this lifetime and you were happy all the time, you wouldn't actually know what happiness is because we're in polarity here, we're in duality. So you have to know yourself as that which you are not to know yourself as that which you are. Happiness, sadness, love, fear. These experiences, we have about 4,300 traits that can be expressed through the brain when our spirit is there, and each have a complementary opposite. This is duality. Eventually, hopefully, we arrive at a destination where we have enough of these experiences to realize that they both have the same value. It's only our perspective and the value we put on them. And at that point, we start to enter into this space of the middle way, in the way of the Buddha, or the Red Road, in the way of the Native American traditions and things like that. So long as our spirit is there in the brain, and when we came down to experience ourselves, the birth of consciousness gave us this beautiful gift. So consciousness projected itself to a point in space, moved towards it, and then created the first sphere, as we see behind us, this flower of life, 19 circles, which you actually are in the womb before you are anything else. This is science. Everything I'm speaking about here is not woo-woo, it's all science. Science is caught up, and spirituality and science are one and the same. They're married. It's a beautiful union there. But at about 12 to 15 hours within the womb, the first cell division takes place, which is what we call the Vescus Pisces, right? The first two spheres. And really what that is consciousness projected itself, created that first sphere, then projected to another point, created the second sphere. And what it gave birth to was seeing itself as that which it was, so it can understand itself as that which it isn't. So I'll say that again. Consciousness projected itself to a point in space so that it can understand the nature of what it was, or understand the nature of what it is not, so it can understand the nature of what it actually is, which is the experience we have as human beings. We know ourselves as happy and loving, as kind, only because you know yourself to not be that way. All of us. This is not, there's no one on this planet other than the great masters that came down like Christ in a completely different way. So that's what gave birth to all of this. Now, energetically, we're made up of three parts. Spirit, and the location of your spirit dictates the way in which you see the reality, and I'll come back around to that. Then we also have the soul, and the soul holds the memory of all of the lifetimes since the inception of time. It's connected back to the origin of everything. And then you have the higher self, which is your direct connection to God, your purest source of guidance and information. And I believe we'll do a short exercise here where we'll connect into the higher self. So you as spirit, and I mean the totality of the evolution that's happened since the inception of time. I mean, I'm not going to begin to try to say I have any clue. So I can only speak from my own experiences as opposed to intellect so much. And my own experiences through depths of deep meditation for long periods of time under proper guidance and in Kriya Yoga and these things. But the spirit descended down upon the mind and the body to have an experience. That's how we evolve. It's how we move. It's how we go into the higher levels. We're experiential beings. And this is an interesting thing because you see now on this planet that we are inundated and overcompensated with intellect, especially in this part of the world. Intellectually trying to navigate something that's experiential. Now, intellect is wonderful, but it's also a double-edged sword. It can cut through butter like a hot knife, or it can also decapitate you. And we've all seen this in our own life in many, many different ways on how we get in our own way, our own beliefs, our own identities. So this spirit has been in you, the spirit, that speck of sparkling light that's in there, has been in the brain for the last, let's say, a couple thousand years at least. I would say even longer. Before 2012, we were in a 13,000-year cycle of masculine energy. We're now in a 13,000-year cycle of feminine energy. This cycle is about 26,000 years roughly, just a little bit under that. And this is the precession of the equinox. This is the planet, the sphere we're on's relationship to the lunar cycle, the solar cycle, time, the tilt, the axis of the Earth. So this experience that we're having, so we could even say the spirit's been in the brain for the last 13,000 years, but a couple thousand years makes sense. And as so long as your spirit is housed in the sphere of knowledge, which is the sphere of the brain, you also have the sphere of the heart, it's about a hand length from the middle of the chest and out the back, and you have the sphere of being, the sphere of the navel. You then have about 20,000 chakras, and then you have the 72,000 meridians running through the body. So, but we're just these spheres. And when your spirit is here, you're governed by the operating system and how it functions. And how this functions, the brain, is polarity. It does not matter how hard you work or try to get to a certain destination. If your spirit is here, you're always going to be experiencing the complementary opposite of whatever it is you're creating. Because it is polarity, it's the balance of the whole thing. If you look on a global level, in the Western world, we have more financial growth and things like that. Spiritual poverty, though, in this part of the world, for the most part, is starting to catch up. And in the eastern part of the world, you have financial poverty. So it's right, male and female. Even the brain, you have the left hemisphere, which is masculine, the right hemisphere, which is feminine. So you can't get away from this. There's no way for you to be able to override this process of experiencing life from your brain. And this is where all of your identities reside. You come onto this planet, and in the first 6 years of your life, you are pure love, pure essence. I spend time with these children that are 4 or 5 years of age. It's interesting. I had a 6-year-old come to a workshop, and she's meditating there. She's like this great master. Right? She's in this space of love. You can see the beams of light that come out of the pineal chakra are activated. Most human beings are all deactivated. So, and we create these identities. So through those experiences in those first 6 to 10 years, traumas, the conditioning of the world around us and how you need to be in that. And we develop the survival mechanism or the ego, if we're looking at the psyche in that. We also create identities because those identities are formed through our experience, and our intellect supports those identities. And actually, this would be good to speak about. It's a little bit of a detour on what we're discussing, but it's vast when we look at the memory in which you bring forth. So we have our identities that we created, and most people have multiple ones. You're a certain person when you are with this group of friends. You are this way when you're with your husband. You're a different way when you're with a different group of friends, just a little bit. You're a different person when you're at work. We wear all these different hats, different aspects, a little bit fine-tuned parts of our identities. Now, if we can commit to just wearing one hat, one identity, which is you being yourself, which takes effort because you need to put effort into your beingness. You need to go out there and have experiences of immersing yourself in nature and meditation and reading and sacred music and the things that connect you into that feminine energy of love and divine compassion. And for men, this is very difficult because we've been conditioned our whole life to not show vulnerability and weakness. It's not acceptable. However, you don't have any courage without weakness. There's never a story in the history of humanity where weakness did not precede courage. We hear stories of women that have had 2 or 3 miscarriages and they find the courage to try to have another child, or the man running into the gunfight in overseas knowing he's going to die to try to save his friend. So weakness always precedes courage. It needs to be there. And there's no joy without vulnerability. And this is one of the biggest issues why men are having a difficult time on this planet right now, being able to really experience divine compassion. It's an interesting, really interesting dynamic. So we have these identities that we've created and the intellect that supports them. Of course, there has to be intellect because it makes sense that you're that identity. You went to school to become a doctor, now you're a doctor. Intellectually, this makes sense. And that intellect that supports it. Then we have this whole silo of memory, which is atomic, the atoms. It's also elemental. It's evolutionary. It's karmic. Inarticulate, articulate, unconscious, and conscious. We call it the silo of memory in yogic practice. It's vast. And you're bringing this forth with you into your new lifetimes. We call it epigenetic markers, bringing from previous lifetimes. You don't know your great-great-great-great-grandmother or grandfather, but her ears there are on your head. So, in fact, every decision and thought that you have in this moment, a cigarette or something, or you do something nice for yourself, or whatever it is, you're affecting your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson in a way to have the same tendency. So in fact, if you can't show up for your own self right now, show up for the lineage that's going to come after you, to a degree. And then you have 4-dimensional memory or 4th density memory, and then beyond that, right? We have 144 densities. Interesting. So when spirit is housed in the brain, we have all of these things that we have, and that's what is the context and where we're creating our life. And we also understand that we have about 70,000 thoughts a day, and 95 to 98% of those thoughts are the same as yesterday. And 70,000 of those are conditioned to be negative. This is why in the traditional Buddhist practice and different lineages all over the planet, I'm non-denominational. I've studied with a lot of great traditions, the Sufis, the Tibetan monks, the Kriya Yoga masters, a lot of mystics, the South American shamans, Native American. I've been really blessed to pull from all these different things to accumulate it. So this is why in the traditional lineages of spirituality, you would be in a monastery for 40 or 50 years to reprogram this thing. Because if the way your condition functions in that way, for me, that's exciting, because that means that I can change it to work in the way that I want it to. 70% positive thoughts, right? Which is a consequence and outcome of practice. Nonetheless, your spirit's in the brain is the equivalent of being in a loud room where kids are crying, heavy metal music's going on, people are fighting, all these different things are happening, and you're going to go around and try to fix all those problems and get everyone to do what you want them to do. It doesn't work that way. It's impossible. We've all experienced it. And thank God it doesn't work that way, because if everything happened the way you wanted it to happen every moment of your life, there'd be no room for the rest of us. So we can't control what's happening outside of ourselves. The only thing we can do is control the way in which we have a relationship to it. Because in fact, all of your life has occurred outside of you. Sorry, inside of you. Most people have the feeling like it's occurring outside of them. But when you look out there at what's before you, which is nothing more than an image, in fact, that image is being processed within you. It's coming in through the lens, right, to the retina, and being processed in the brain. So in fact, you see life within yourself, and you hear life within yourself. So naturally, all experiences of life have happened within ourselves. And this is one of the biggest disconnections right now, is that if it's all happened within you, then only you can choose the way in which it functions. And if you don't choose, almost anybody will. And if you don't work this mechanism properly, it's going to do what everyone else wants it to do. Not going to work the way you want it to do, just like driving a Ferrari. Most people are driving their Ferrari, the equivalent of a 3-year-old being behind the wheel. A car is a beautiful thing and gets you from A to B, but if it's not handled correctly, it'll kill you, just like intellect. So, the beautiful lineage of the Kriya Yoga masters, Avatar Babaji and Lahiri and Yukteswar and Yogananda, and that, who naturally working these methods and systems in a natural way in the East for a very long period of time, and intimately connected with Drunvalo. He was there giving a talk long ago, and Sri Yukteswar showed up to him, right? The Tiger of Bengali, the beautiful, beautiful master. And he told him, he said, you have to do a certain thing with these people before you speak to them to be able to open their hearts so they can go within it. And Drew's work, which is essentially the work of us, the work of humanity, and an entry point for us to understand it, is that there is a way for us to directly move within our body, because the totality of the multiverse resides within us. Hermes said this, as above, so below. He also said, as within, so without. But what he meant by that is what's up there is actually inside of you. And when practicing traditional techniques, say Kriya Yoga, Tai Chi, I mean really immersed in it, not the exercise of yoga, the immersing yourself in the expression of what it is, which yoga essentially means to be part of everything, to feel the aliveness, to yoke, be in the center. You would be there naturally. We don't have that ability here in this part of the world because we live in the most difficult part of the planet to spiritually evolve, let's say. So we need a more direct method to get into the space where we're able to see from a singularity as opposed to from a polarity. So the spirit, we move down, and we'll do that here today quickly, a 5-minute exercise maybe at the end, however you feel you'd like to navigate this. And this heart here, we call this the tiny space of the heart. So we have this toroidal field that expands out from here, and it's polarized throughout the majority of it. It's contracting, expanding, and turning. But there's this one point. The heart isn't actually way over to the left. It's just slightly over. But there's this point right there we call slightly off center. It's called the tiny space of the heart. It was first referred to as in the Upanishads, the most ancient text out of India. And there's only about 6 or 7 books written about this sacred place. You have the Song of the Wataha from New Zealand. You have Living in the Heart. You have the Secret Chamber of the Heart, which is connected to the ancient Torah. Which I don't believe too many people have ever seen that text. I haven't. We have Philokalia. We have The Way of a Pilgrim. All speaking about this experience from within here. Now, on this planet today, you have very beautiful factions all over the planet. Heart Math Institute, Joe Dispenza. Interesting thing, and not to take anything away from their beautiful work, they're talking about connecting the heart resonance in that. They're not going into it. So it's like you're there getting ready to go into your favorite rock concert or sporting event, and you know what's going on in there, but you're standing outside in the cold. You're not in the party. You feel a connection to the party, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the work that they're doing, but you're not in the party. You really aren't. And for those that have experienced what this is, and it's simple, everybody can experience it. So this is not me bringing anything forth that's new. I'm sharing the offerings that have been offered to me, like we need to be doing in this time, not holding on to things like, oh, I created this, and I'm the greatest this, and I'm going to heal you. This is all bullshit, right? We need to share. We need to share it together and be one people. We need to live with compassion. We need to live from a place of love. And if you do not practice things yourself daily, whatever that is, hang upside down from a tree. Doesn't really matter. Just be there with yourself. That's what I call sober silence. Then you can't help others because you're trying to save. You actually can't save or help anybody because your higher self understands the direction and the path of your life and what's necessary in it. But if you don't know how to swim, how do you save a drowning society, right? So as we move down into the heart, now we can get into some of the details and intellect of the heart. The magnetic field of it's much stronger than the brain and all these wonderful things. But when you get into this tiny space, you are in a singularity. You are in the center, the source of creation. We call it the inner kingdom, the inner sanctuary. It is the center. And as we go in there and we start to navigate from this place, because it is a singularity, the experiences that start to become and happen is we start to see ourselves and others. And for me, in my own experience, I would start to see how I would judge another person, and then I would see how what they were doing was actually a fragment that was going on in me. And for me, it was the negative things first, because we're conditioned to be negative. With time and practice and spending time in the heart, going there, which in the early stages, it's a place you go to. Eventually, you're always there. And when you're always there, it's a completely, life is just, it's so wonderful. For me, then it then transitioned where I would start to see the beauty in other people as a reflection of me, because I was working and cleaning my stuff. And then eventually you get to the point where I'm not there always, but you see, when I look at, in this state I'm in now, because I've been meditating very heavy today, when I look at you, Del, and Kayin, Ron, I see God. I see creation. I don't see a man or a woman right now. I see God. Now, I'm not always in that state, because I need to make money and support my family and that and go out there. So it can be hard to be in that state always, but we're working towards it and working things. So the intelligence of the heart, there's about 40,000 neurites in the heart that science has shown, a doctor in Montreal, I believe, that function at a higher frequency than the brain. So when your spirit is there, now going back to what we discussed, the spirit in its location dictates the way in which you see. The soul holds all the information. When your spirit is in the heart is a receiver and the brain is the processor. This is the interesting thing, what we're dealing with on this planet right now. If you're trying to be here and operate and navigate the reality from the brain, which is only meant to be a processor, not meant to actually be a memory bank, it causes a lot of dysfunction. So when the spirit is here, the energy is flowing from the soul beautifully, just like the discussion we're having here right now. This is not me remembering the thoughts that I'm trying to talk about. Oh, I'm going to be on this summit and I want to make sure that I really show up and talk good in that. I'm here with you, centered, being with you, enjoying you're really beautiful, both of you. Your energy together is, and you're getting married soon, so it's good, because if you weren't, I would tell you should. Not that I ever tell people what to do, but life now becomes the experiential consequence of what it's supposed to be because of your own practice, and a lot of it has to do with our spiritual maturity in that. It really is the quickest direct way to get into this environment. Now, this tiny space is also connected to a very important chakra, which we call the lower heart chakra, which is one of the only chakras that doesn't ever have to be balanced or touched. It's always functioning perfect. Now we also have the upper heart chakra, which is right above it. Now this is in the primary breathing tube, or the primary chakras in most yoga practice in the West that we know of, the 7+1, the 7 prime. So this is the same system, it's just a more extensive one, which is Egyptian or Tibetan. And the heart is the only place that has two. The lower heart chakra, which is the chakra of unconditional love, And then you have the upper heart chakra, which is connected to the right hemisphere of the brain, which is where most of our population are right now. This is conditional love. What did you do for me today kind of love. So if we can work things in a way, and I'm not taking anything away because I really believe that everybody's process is perfect and I respect it completely, void of any judgment. But when we can start navigating and having the experience of what it is to be in the tiny space of the heart and these things, and also work your own spiritual practice from there. So it doesn't mean that you have to completely, go away from what you've been doing. All I urge people to do is maybe listen to these words and see if they align with you, because always use discernment. I don't know what's best for you. You know what's best for you. Anybody tells you otherwise, run in the other direction. It's that simple. However, do all of your practice, live your life from this place, and you will see things open up in a hurry. In a hurry. It was when I was first introduced to this was my primary teacher, Daniel Mattel. I walked into a workshop about a decade ago, and he said, "You're all here to learn about the human light body because it's a vehicle that lets you fly the Merkaba, right, which is activated in a natural way." And he said, "But what you'll come to know is that the most important thing that you're ever going to discover and realize in this life is the intelligence of your own heart, how to reside within there, because it will allow you to navigate the reality in a way where it becomes effortless." So it was a bit of a rant there.
Beautiful.
Hopefully it was clear. Sometimes I can go in directions where you. So.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Good.
Perfect.
And Stephanie agrees as well. Stephanie and Ivana. Ivana put up prayers, hands up, and a heart. And Stephanie.
Should we experience it practically, or did you want to talk about some other things?
Listen, I'm always about experience.
me too. The intellect is one thing, the experience is another. So just maybe, why don't we maybe take 30 seconds, because if the people there on your broadcast weren't expected to do a short meditation, they can get settled. And for these 30 seconds, maybe we just, we close our eyes when we begin. I'll just wait 30 seconds before we begin. But during these 30 seconds, just have some compassion and love, and really send our love and compassion, which we'll do in the imagery exercise also, to all of the human beings on this planet, to the hearts of humanity. You either love all or you love none. So to those that are sitting in prison, to those that are martyrs, to those that are sages, to those that are in the high buildings thinking that more money will help them, to those that are sick, to every single human being on this planet, I love you, I love you, I love you, we love you. I really believe that we're on the cusp of a new reality, a new way of living with one another. If we can just stop, turn off the TVs, and be in harmony with ourselves. So sit with your spine as straight as possible. You can be sitting in a chair, it's completely fine. You may find it most comfortable if you're in a chair to have your feet on the ground and your hands, palms down on your knees. We call this Pharaoh's posture. The great pharaohs would do imagery exercises in Egypt. And relax your eyebrows, your shoulders, and your hips. The 3 points in which we carry all of our emotional stress. And you can say with your inner voice, I am completely relaxed. I am completely relaxed. Breathing naturally, inhaling through your nose and exhaling, leaving your mouth. See yourself there in a beautiful garden, just the way you like it. The grass groomed perfectly. Trees, flowers, vibrant in color, you can almost taste them. The animals. And gently sit there, lotus posture. Gaze up there at the sky above you that represents your mind. And the clouds in the sky represent your thoughts. You sitting there represents your spirit. Just gently watch the clouds as they pass by. Just observe them, become the watcher, as is so with our thoughts. If we could just watch them, as opposed to letting them take us away, what would be possible for you in life? And as you inhale, a calm breeze comes from the right to the left, moving the clouds on their way. Thoughts fading off into the distance as sure as they came about, if you would just let them. As you inhale, a calm breeze comes from the right to the left. More thoughts fade off into the distance, clouds dissolving into the universe. You're moving closer to the center, the seat of your awareness, the observer. One last inhalation, last remnants of thoughts dissolve. There you are. You begin to breathe rhythmically. It's helpful to keep your mouth closed. And if possible, you can roll your tongue up, place it to the roof of your mouth, but not necessary. Inhale and exhale through your nose, similar in length. And moving at your own cadence, listening to my voice, as you inhale, feel your diaphragm expand and bring prana from above, down through your crown, and from below up through your perineum. These two energies meet there in the center of your heart. As you exhale, fill your heart sphere with pure life force, prana, chi, all one and the same. Rhythmic breathing, very simple. As you inhale, bring prana from above and below into the center of your precious heart, and exhale from the center of your heart. Breathe in this way throughout this short exercise, if possible. See your body there as though represented as a big, beautiful house reaching way up into the heavens. You are massive in size. The multiverse resides within you. As Fermi said, as above, so below. There you are, a speck of sparkling light on the top floor of the brain. Feel this environment. Try not to allow it to take you away. Just feel it there. Where all the identities, the happiness, the sadness, your successes, your failures, everything that we have been convoluted into thinking we actually are, but mostly are not, is here. Keep breathing rhythmically, gently move there to the center of the brain. Don't think. The beautiful golden spiral staircase moving down through the center of you. Leave the brain now. Go. Step by step. Move within yourself. Move down past the level of the eye. Nose. Moving through the throat. Moving inside of yourself. Keep moving down the upper chest. Under the middle of the chest. There, and step out to the left. There's a sort of platform, bottom of the stairs. Keep going. There, step out to the left. There before you is a door to your salvation. Don't think. Open it and step in. Go. Close the door behind you and lock it. Spirit has a tendency to move back to the brain. It's been its home for a very long time. And exhale one time. Feel the heart in comparison to the brain. Even if only just for a moment, you feel it. It is undeniable. The difference, the sweetness, the softness. Feel the heart in comparison to the brain. Feels like you're in both places at once. That's okay. It's a natural experience or occurrence in the beginning, but there you are in the heart. I assure you, I can feel it. Invoke your higher self. This is where you connect with them authentically. Say, higher self, please come before me now. He, she, or they maybe already are present if you work with the higher self on a regular basis, but he, she, or they will show up in any form. It could be people, a person, an animal, animals, a sound, feeling, a knowing. You might not see anything. But this is your purest source of guidance in your life, your direct connection to God. And we need to commit to walk every step in our life as the higher self, every hug, every smile, every spoken word. See, sense, feel, or know there, in your heart, is all of humanity. In fact, see us, all the 8+ billion, all holding hands in one massive circle of love and energy. One heart, there in the middle, a beautiful representation of heart. The vibration and frequencies of our hearts connecting with each other. one people, one heart, one love. The only way we move through this is together. Put your love there into each other. Put your intention that all of our brothers and sisters of humanity will come to know and see the experiences clothed in their lives as necessary to remember who they really are. Or in fact, there is no suffering. And so it is. Gently leaving your spirit there, your heart. Gently exhale one long breath. And when you feel that this is complete for you, see that gently, you feel the body, the room around you, gently, without opening your eyes yet, gently rub your hands together a few times and see and sense that your hands are emitting a beautiful golden light. You've been reading prana for like 10 minutes now. Pull the palms apart a few inches and you may be able to feel the prana moving between your palm chakras even stronger. Massage them together a few more times. Take your hands and place them so your palms are facing away from your body, and see and feel the love and energy coming from all of the other beautiful beings that are part of this gathering here now. You can feel it, the intensity is beautiful. Take your hands and place them on your face. If you're one of the beautiful ladies and you have makeup, you can have it an inch off or so. If you see the light cleaning your complexion, come around to the brain, the hemispheres of the brain, back down the neck, cleaning the upper neck, the emotions there, around to the front of the chest, the heart, the lungs, the chest, the digestive area, the kidneys, the gallbladder, the stomach, the hormone area. Bring the hands back around the hips, the kidneys there on the back, the spleen. Gently wipe your arms off as if giving this energy to Mother Earth for her to transmute. When you feel that this exercise is complete, gently open your eyes. You have a really beautiful community that you put together here, Kai and Del. You can really feel the energy of all of them. It's so beautiful. Ron, nice for you to be here too. We meditate a lot together, so I know Ronnie's energy real well. How was that experience for maybe for Kai or Del? I know, or Ron, you could share. Obviously, it's nice to hear the sharing of new people we do this with. So
Yeah, I think it was phenomenal, and it really brought the group together, and you could feel everybody's energy that was
you feel everyone there, eh? Holding hands. It was beautiful, like children in a sandbox.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you feel the difference, Kai, beating your heart and in your brain?
Yeah, I felt more like at awe, with everything.
I say it's so sweet in there. Del, how was it for you?
Amazing.
Good.
And
Good,
he universally called me out when the part of going into the door. He was like, "Close the door, lock it. You're gonna go back to your mind." And I was going back up the stairs, right? Just let me go back in. Let me go back.
It can feel. It can for some. If there's viewers at home, that we have to be patient with ourselves because we've been here for so long. When we get in there, it can feel like we're going back and forth because it's natural. We need to just practice. And in the words of Drew, a beautiful teacher, says, if you go in and you come back out, eat a cookie and start over. So, that was beautiful. Thank you for that gift with your community. So amazing. You can feel them all.
Yeah. Wow.
Thank you. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my question is, we have just a few minutes.
Yes, of course.
Is that once we're in, this is a very masculine question, as I feel that I'm asking it. But once we get in touch with this, it's like, what do we get access to? When we do that, I almost wanted to say what do we do with it, but that would be that would be too far in that direction.
It's natural. We have to remember, we have to be kind and patient with ourselves in the sense that naturally, once we go into these vibrations, the monkey brain is going to start thinking, okay, well, what do we do now in this? And this is just a natural part of what it is to be human. So we need to remember, don't shame yourself, don't beat yourself up. It's all of a sudden we start thinking, somebody there at home just went into their heart and think, oh man, but how am I going to make more money from this place or something? Or I know that wasn't your question, but the main thing is this, is that we have been conditioned into the doing. This is a process of just going there. And what you'll see is that, in fact, I have no idea what you're meant to do with it, because as you're in there, you'll begin to navigate the energies in that in your own way and be guided in your own way. The main thing is that you're there, right? There's only one tiny space. It's when you're in your tiny space and I'm in mine. That's how when I'm there, and I'm very seasoned in this place, that I can see everyone else there and make sure when we were doing it, all your viewers, that they got in there and those types of things. So there's only one tiny space, and when you're in there, you just want to keep going there. There's lots of, if you go to my own website or Drew's or that, or you can find meditation. I have a lot of really on my Facebook, and now we're just going into the heart. You want to keep going, and for someone like yourself, Kai and Del, you'll whether you understood this method in there or not, you're already tapped into this type of energy. So just keep experiencing it. And the thing is that all the answers will come to you in the way in which they're meant to. So I'm not really sure what somebody should do with it, other than I know that living your life from this place is the only way for us to live here. And this is exactly where all the great masters live their life from. And this is a direct way in, given to us by them, right, as an accumulation, because we need so much help as a humanity right now. We don't have much time. We see it. 8 weeks of no work, and you have people can't feed their families. Like, if we look at the way that we've been living as a collective here, we need to do better. We have enough technology on this planet, enough resources, that no person should ever go without food or water, but yet you have a massive population of poverty. In higher dimensional spheres, right, the ones that strive to make the most money are actually the ones that are the lowest regarded in society. The ones that spend their time in 4 or 5 hours of service daily are the ones that are the elders at the top of it. So we have it backwards, right? We admire those that are successful, and I don't want to take away from all the beautiful people that they're writing books and all that kind of stuff and wonderful stuff, but in the words of Sri Yukteswar, at some point we need to stop assimilating life through the eyes out here and go within into the atoms. So explore the inner world, spend your time with your spirit and your heart in that place, and see what comes to you. And seek out mentors and whoever, and follow your heart, because you know what's best for you. You know the answers. Kai, Del, Ron, you know the answers. You can just be in this place and start to have a different vantage point of the mind. Life starts to slow down and becomes very, very simple for us to navigate here and what's really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of your website and the wonderful meditations that you have available, may I ask if you could let everybody know what that is?
Yeah, my website is Luke Sellars, LukeSellars.com. We're in the process of revamping it, so there's a site there now, some stuff on it, but in the process of redoing it. I created that one myself. So it's not too bad, but there'll be a lot more stuff there, and a members page and that. And on Facebook, I'm quite active on there. We have a lot of things going on there. So people can find me, and if you ever have questions of me, I'm always available. I try to be around and assist in any way I can, because that's what's allowed me to get where I am, is having access to the mentors and things like that. So I see myself as a student of this planet. I don't even like looking at it from the perspective of teaching people. It's just helping them remember, that's really what it's about to be human, is helping each other and assisting us in the remembrance of who we really are. Absolutely.
Wow. So grateful for you, your time, your
Likewise.
Precious presence.
It was fun. Lots of fun. Really beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ron.
Okay, and I'll send you guys the info. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Yes, absolutely.
For Kriya Yoga, first initiation. I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.